Our first guest is Mr. Hashtag Positivity himself. I had him on Buddycast this past week, and I was inspired. He doesn't know this yet, but he actually inspired me to reach out to a good coworker who was struggling, that I knew was struggling. And I told him a phrase that he told me, that someone had said to him. Remember that story you told me about the lady at the line at the bank? And it worked. It worked. He said he was having a terrible day. I sent him that message, and he said, that just made my day incredibly. Thank you so very much. So on that note, I'm going to take that up, and I'm going to add Mr. Jonas Cain. How you doing today, buddy?
I am doing wonderful. So good, Nick. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much for joining us. You are now, like Tommy and everyone else on the show. Not only have you been here for Buddycast, you are now a member of Buddyaid.
I watched last month's show, and I was thrilled to have been asked to be a part of this one to help out Tommy. It is such a joy to be here to help out a great cause, to help a buddy in need.
Yes, most definitely. So what have you got for us today, buddy?
Well, I have something very special because these are some dicey times. So it's really nice to be able to come together as a community and truly connect with others for a good cause. And since these are such dicey times, I thought if we can't beat them, join them. And the secret is to use trick dice. Here's how it works. You roll the dice in the left hand, and you always roll a 6 and a 4. That's just how the dice work. You roll the dice in the right hand, you always roll a 1 and a 3. That's just how the dice work. But this is the fascinating part. You put one die away, and you roll just 1, and watch what happens. You always roll 2 dice. Now, I know what you might be saying to yourself, Nick. You might be saying, Jonas, because that's my name. You might be saying, Jonas, are you doing something sneaky? And yes, I am doing something sneaky. Not only do I have trick dice, but I also have a sneaky die right here in my pocket. Everyone go, ooh. Ooh. That was right on cue. And this sneaky die allows us to roll not 1, not 2, but 3 dice. Now, but here's the thing. There is a classic rule in magic. You never do the same trick twice. And you know why that is, right, Nick? The reason is, if you know what's going to happen, it ruins the surprise. If it ruins the surprise, it's not going to be fun anymore. So if I'm going to do this again, not only do I have to be tricky and sneaky, well, I also have to be fair. How many dice do I have, Nick? It's not a trick question. How many dice do I have here?
You have 3, correct?
That is correct. If I take 1 away, how many does that leave us?
2.
2. But remember, not only am I being fair and tricky, we can always sneak up with that 3rd die. This time, it's a little tiny baby die.
Aww.
Isn't that adorable?
Yes.
It's so cute. It's almost as if they had a kid. But this is the really encouraging part, Nick, because now we know why this works. We have a tricky die. And we have a second tricky die, and we have a sneaky die. When we combine all of these elements together, we give them a little shake. And with all of these elements of the sneaky die and the tricky die, that's when we're able to make a big impact.
Say what?
What? And isn't this fun?
Yes.
Now, remember, folks, if you see something that you like in this show, whether from me or any of the other performers, please leave an applause emoji or maybe a heart, or perhaps leave a comment, just to let the performers know that you appreciate what they're doing to help out a buddy in need, our good friend Tommy. For now, the important thing to remember is that things are not always as they appear. In the case of the dice, I suppose, when we're using trick dice and sneaky dice, of course things aren't always as they appear. But there's a classic in magic that really illustrates this point. And you may have seen this before. You might even know how it's done. It uses a card with 1 spot, 4 spots, 3 spots, and 6 spots. And for those of you at home, this would be an incredible trick if you didn't already know how it's done. And it doesn't help that I already told you. Things are not always as they appear. Because I can show you one, or I can lead you to believe that there are three, depending on our perspective. The other side works the same way. I show you that there's four, or I can show you six, depending on our perspective. This is such a valuable thing to remember, that our experience is shaped by our frame of perspective and our assumptions about these perspectives. Because when we do forget this, things can get really frustrating when life catches us off guard. Kind of like when all the spots disappear and reappear over here. Because things are not always as they appear. And perhaps the most important thing that we can remember about this is that despite the circumstances that we find ourselves in, no matter the challenges, no matter how dicey things get, in other words, regardless of the lemons that life throws our way, we have a choice. We are empowered with a choice. We can choose to be frustrated and wish for a brighter future, but then not do anything about it and just complain about it and just wallow in these woes. And really, there's a time and there's a place for frustration. There's a time for anger and grief and sadness. There's space for that. However, if you've been experiencing this for too long and you're ready to experience something else, then I have some good news. There is another choice. We can choose to be fascinated. And instead of being frustrated and hoping for a brighter future, we can instead take hopeful action to make that brighter option available to us. And Nick, this is where you come into play. I have something for you, and this is really for you, but also for all of our viewers at home. This is it's a card. Now you'll notice it's a giant size card because tonight is kind of a big deal. We're helping out a buddy in need who really needs our help. So we use a big card here. I won't show you what's on it just yet. We'll find out in just a moment. But Nick, you're going to help us out. Are you excited?
Yes, I am.
It's my favorite answer. You're going to choose a card at random. And whatever card you stop me at, that's the one that you're going to use. However, it will be a random choice. So I'm going to keep the backs away from you. And wherever you say stop, that'll become your card. But to make this really fun, everyone at home, you get to play along as well. Nick is going to select a card at random, but all of you at home are going to think of a card at random. So think of your card now while Nick selects a card. So as I go through, whenever you'd like, just say stop.
Stop.
Right here. Was that on this card or one after it?
Let's go with the one in your hand.
Okay. Yep. Now, you know what I like about you? You're a man who knows what he wants. That's what I like about you, Nick. That and everything else. You'll notice, what card did you pick?
The Two of Hearts.
The Two of Hearts. And notice, you could have stopped me anywhere and you would have found a completely different card. So this is your card. Remember this. In fact, put it in the chat box so we can remember it later as well. This is Nick's card. The rest of you at home, you're also thinking of a card. Maybe you thought of the Two of Hearts as well, or maybe you're thinking of a completely different card. Would you be amazed? Would you be astounded, or perhaps even slightly amused if your card, Nick, was on this card?
I would.
I can tell by your face and your eyebrows. You would be very amused. And how about everyone at home? Put in the chat box. Would you be amazed, astounded, or slightly amused if your card was on this card? Let's see those responses. Now, if you could remind me, Nick, what card are you thinking of?
I picked the Two of Hearts.
Oh, and I see that Matthew Scavera just said that he also picked the Two of Hearts. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Look at it. There's this connection. Talk about coming together and connecting as a community. I just got truth bumps. I call them truth bumps. Oh my goodness. Take a look on this card. Wham, bam, the Two of Hearts.
Ah.
Where is it? It's over here. There it is. There it is. The two.
Yes, sir.
Everyone go, yay!
Yay!
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be saying to yourself, Jonas, because that's my name. You're saying, Jonas, you cheated. But I would suggest that when things get dicey, when we're faced with challenges, when those lemons come into our life, and they come between our happiness and our well-being and our safety, to just stick to that one outcome so that we're not going to be safe, we're not going to be well, we're not going to be happy, or we're going to be open to more opportunities so that regardless of what happens in our life, you're okay. You're okay.
I loved that message. Thank you so much. Let's bring Trent back here now.
Trent's back.
Terrific job, Jonas. Wonderful work.
Thank you very much. And you know what? I'd like to leave you with one parting thought, if I may. Since you are back, Trent, I'm very happy to see you, because this is the second time you and I are doing a show together.
That's true. That's true. We did another buddy. A couple of it was around this time last year.
A year ago, last year. And that's what I love about what we're doing tonight, is that we're not just out here sharing joy with others, but we're also helping others in need. And that is the real secret. When we're thinking about being able to find happiness regardless of the circumstances that we find ourselves in, the question becomes, well, how do we do that? Well, really, it's not as far off as we may think. In fact, it might be so close to us that we're trying to hide from it, or perhaps run away from it because it's scary, because it hurts, because it's uncomfortable. And yet, when we choose not to run away from these things, and instead choose to face them head on and cut to the very core, we're going to find there something waiting for us, something that we've been looking for this entire time. In this case, it happens to be a playing card.
If this is my card, I am jumping from my recliner.
Get ready to jump.
You and Matthew both thought of a card at random. This is a very slimy card because it's literally and it smells really good. It's in the chat box. What was your card that you're thinking of? There it is, the Two of Hearts.
Two of Hearts. You are a master, my friend.
That was awesome. That was wow. Talk about when life gives you lemons, Trent. I make lemonade.
Absolutely.
Out of play.
Jonas, you knocked me out with that one. And you know, talking about us being together last year, he did this in front of a crowd, a live audience, and yeah, it just knocks everybody's socks off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
He is a real wizard. He truly is.
100%. He is now going to be a regular on Buddyaid. He's now a
regular. Absolutely.
I love
that. So, Jonas, I have two questions for you. Number one, what is your hashtag?
It's hashtag positivity.
Yes.
Hashtag positivity. Because we use hashtags to share information and share good ideas online, and positivity is something worth sharing.
Hashtag positivity. I love that. And finally, as my buddy always asks, where can we find you more? Like, where can people find out more about you?
Hashtag positivity.com. That's the word, hashtag positivity.com. You can check out what we're about. The positivity that we share through magic, through workshops, through storytelling, through connecting with other people. It's all about sharing good things with good people.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much for being here on Buddyaid today. Stick around because we got some surprises coming up for some people.
Yes.
So, yes. Hashtag positivity. Yeah. But thank you so much, Jonas. We'll catch you in a minute.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Be positive.
Peace.
All right. He's a magician on so many levels. He truly is.
We're 1 for 1 tonight, buddy. We're 1 for 1.
There you go. There you go.